Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another weekly Geek episode. I am one of your hosts. I am the supercut Kirklin Patzer. Who am I here with today?
I am the canceled Taylor Field.
Yes, just the two of us today. It's going to be a very fun weekly Geek episode, and we're not going to waste too much time today. We're actually going to get right into the episode. All the links that you need to know to just support us on Patreon, all that stuff. It is down below in the comments, so go there. And yeah, we're just going to get right into this episode. So, starting off the hop, Taylor Field, we got some, it's our background today. I don't know if you noticed it. Kang the Conqueror, there is a rumor going around that he is possibly not only going to appear in Moon Knight Season 2, but also be a potential villain. I feel like it's the type of character that if he's attached to something, you would probably speculate that he would be a more antagonist character. And there might be some minor Quantumanium end credit scene spoilers for this news stig right now. That's a made up word I just threw out there. But Taylor, as you know, the end credit for Kang, oh my gosh, the end credit for Ant-Man Quantumania appeared a couple Kangs, one of them being a more Egyptian-inspired route. I'm going to have to grab the name so I don't mispronounce it. It's Rama Tut. So that was like the more Egyptian Kang that we saw at the end of the movie, and people are speculating that he might be appearing in the next season of Moon Knight. And apparently there was even something that happened in the first season of Moon Knight where I think it was Steven was like reading off a scripture or something, and he like saw that name. It could just be a fun Easter egg. MCU, very notorious for just combining all these things together. So yeah, I'm gonna throw it to you, Taylor. Like initial thoughts for like just having Jonathan Majors portray another Kang in the Moon Knight season 2. I should preference too, season 2 isn't even like announced yet, so it's not like a for sure thing. This is all rumors, so don't take anything I'm saying, or take everything I'm saying here with a grain of salt, actually. But yeah, what do you think about that?
I think it's gonna happen. We
It's gonna happen.
I'll,
Season
I'll
2 and this, just everything.
yeah, like I'll say this much. Well, not we all, but if you're here at this point and you have watched Ant-Man Quantumania, did you see how many Kangs there were?
There's a lot of Kangs.
There was a lot of Kangs. They gotta sprinkle those guys out in the MCU, and I mean, what better place than seeing a prominent Kang, Mr. Tut, be dashed into Moon Knight season 2. I mean, Egyptian. I think it just kind of coincides like two pieces of a puzzle, if you ask me.
Yeah.
In what way? I don't know. Because we're getting into the multiverse, so I don't know how Moon Knight really goes up against multiversal enemy types in this sense. So that'll be interesting. But like that Tut version was clearly like a very human Egyptian design. So
Yeah, apparently, so Rama Tut is a version of Kang who traveled back to ancient Egypt and ruled as a powerful pharaoh. So it's like the timing of everything. It seems like he went back actually in the ancient Egyptian times. I feel like Kang just is able to transcend like time at this point of just like popping in and out of like multiverses or whatnot. So I don't know if like something. I'm very new to just Kang in general, so I apologize the hardcore Kang fans out there. But for like Rama Tut, yeah, apparently he popped off there. I don't know if something caused him to like leave that posting or something, or if he like was still just leading the Egyptians or something as the pharaoh. I have no idea. I love the look of it. I thought he looked really really cool in Quantumania for the brief moment that we did see him. But yeah, I mean it's something that I feel like I kind of feel silly I didn't notice it like when I watched the movie. Is like, oh, we got like an ancient Egyptian tie right there. Who's our main ancient Egyptian character right now? Well, that's Moon Knight, and Moon Knight just came out last year now, so it is pretty recent. But yeah, I did not put two and two together. But also, as I already said, season 2 isn't announced by any means, so this is all just speculation. But I think it'd be really, really fun to have two super powerful actors amongst Oscar Isaac and Jonathan Majors just interacting with each other. That's what's so great about having Jonathan Majors play the role of Kang, is that he's going to be in so many different projects playing different versions of the character, interacting with these other super powerful actors like Tom Hiddleston's of the world. So I am so excited for what this could potentially become. Even if it doesn't happen, I feel like I'm not super upset because I don't have major ties to that version of Kang, but just I am so happy we're entering this Jonathan Majors renaissance. I saw Creed 3, just freaking love that role that he played in there, and I just can't get enough of Jonathan Majors. So if he's in more projects, I think that's a big thumbs up for me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I haven't seen Creed 3 yet. That's definitely on my watch list, but I loved him in that Loki finale. I loved him in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Like, he was just absolutely beastly. So that's where you can really test the mettle of an actor when I lost count. I mean, you won the draft at that end credits.
I did.
There was like 10,000 infinite amounts of Kangs. So
Draft's not over, we should say. It's still in the running, but I have a very, very, very strong start thanks to that end credit scene.
Yeah. So I think that there is, there's a lot that can be said for an actor that can just come out and just display different mannerisms and tones and displays of emotion being different variants of this one character. So it's going to be very interesting to see. And I do hope that we do see this character fill in as a villain role or something like that in Moon Knight. I just think it's very fitting. Other than that, the only thing I could see is like a teams up with other like midnight Marvel MCU characters like a Blade or something like that. It's weird to kind of think of it in that regard, but I feel like this Tut variant would be more so in line with that kind of like shadowy area of the MCU.
Yeah.
With your Man-Thing and Werewolf and all those other characters.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, if he is introduced in, not introduced. We already been introduced to him, but if he's expanded upon in season 2 of Moon Knight, that's also giving us an avenue to allow, like Oscar Isaac, Moon Knight to actually like transfer over to like more multiversal things, because he does interact with literal gods in his own show, but I still kind of see that show as just kind of being its own little bubble amongst the MCU. So actually like breaking that bubble with a character that we've already seen in another project, I think it just makes it a little bit of a cleaner transition to get like Mark Spector, Stephen Strange, not Stephen Strange.
Stephen Strange.
Stephen, oh my gosh. Steven. I am totally blanking on names today. I'm sorry, but the other version.
Stephen Grant.
Stephen Grant. Thank you. Threw me a rope after I was drowning there for a little bit, but yeah, I just think that would make. I mean, I don't even know like if it is for sure that we are going to be seeing Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight like in the near future or at all. Maybe that's a. Do you think I'm super wrong there? Do you think it's like a guarantee we're going to get more Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight?
I think so.
Even if it's not in his own show.
Oh, I mean, they left it so open at the end of that season.
That's true.
So I mean,
yeah.
there's so much to explore with that, because we have 3 different versions of Oscar Isaac's character. So I think it's definitely something will come up from that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So yeah, this is all just rumor, nothing too solid here, but still fun to talk about nonetheless. All right, well, if there's nothing else, we're just gonna move on over to some Star Wars stuff. So this is an interesting one because I feel like just lately I've been trying to not get too attached to like Star Wars projects, other than like I don't even have solid information on it yet, but that Acolyte project is still like the one that's probably at the top of my want list just for what it could potentially be. But if you're in our Discord and if you're just kind of following the podcast in general, you'll know that I feel like all of us have kind of lost faith lately in just the release schedule for these Star Wars projects, and it seems like a lot of things just get announced and they just kind of fizzle out over a couple of years, or maybe certain people are getting dropped from projects, or maybe they're just changing their plan of what they want to do, or maybe focus on certain things. But today there was might have been today or yesterday, I can't quite remember now, but apparently Damon Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson exit their secret Star Wars project. Now, this is where I'm going to be just demonstrating my lack of not necessarily knowledge, but maybe just like attention on this thing. I didn't even really know like who these individuals are. Maybe I'm just not a big film buff or whatnot. Taylor, we are kind of talking a little bit before cast, but like, yeah, fill me in here. Like, should I really be feeling this one? Go join the GV Discord because there was some discussion there, and it sounded like overall people were seeing this as a loss. I wasn't exactly sure if it was loss of like Damon Lindelof like not being a part of it anymore because of his just artistic style, or more so it's just like, oh, more negative Star Wars news. So yeah, what do you think about this surface level?
First off, I'm going to say that's Bubs, the end of the Taylor Field Star Wars rant trilogy. It's not a trilogy. There's 9 Star Wars movies in that, so I mean that's at least 6, 7 more rants.
Bonus features probably too.
Yeah.
Exclusive Patreon bonus features. Go join the Patreon.
Yeah, so this David lad, it's not David, Damon. Fuck, there we're on to a ripe start right now. Yeah, like I remember them talking about him like joining in and just having this secret project, and everyone was raving about it, and I wasn't entirely sure why, but that's good. You know, it means Star Wars content. I was looking at projects that he's associated with, and so Watchmen is one.
Okay.
Leftovers.
Oh, like the TV series. Okay,
Yeah,
no, Travis is
2009
highly.
TV series.
Have you seen that one as well? I can't remember.
I've never watched it. Actually.
Okay, Travis highly praises it, so there you go.
There's Tomorrowland, Prometheus. There's a few
Lost
things in
on
there.
there, big family favorite of mine.
Oh yeah.
Not for you, it sounds like.
Well, one season, a one and done for me. Yeah, I think it's a shame. It's a shame that we're losing people like this working on these projects. And actually, there was an article here that I sourced. Bear with me. Where is it here?
Taylor's looking.
Yeah. I say I sourced. I sourced from SBubs. Thank you, SBubs, for your deadline.
SBubs, you've been promoted to official source for the GB pod.
Yeah. So, it's from Deadline. Well, the specific reasoning behind the departure of Lindelof and Britt Gibson hasn't been disclosed. The former hinted at the possibility of an interview with Slash Film unveiled earlier this month. I will just say that for reasons that I can't get into on the Sunday morning on this day, the degree of difficulty is extremely, extremely high. If the film can't be great, it shouldn't exist, shared Lindelof. That's all I'll say, because I have the same association with Star Wars as you do, which is it's the first movie I saw sitting on my dad's lap, 4 years old, May of 1977. I think it's possible that sometimes when you hold something in such high reverence and esteem, you start to get in the kitchen and you just go, maybe I shouldn't be cooking. Maybe I should just be eating. We'll just leave it at that point.
Do you think Kathleen Kennedy feels like that sometimes? She's like, sometimes I just don't want to do this. I want to be the one watching it. But it's like, you are the
She's
peak.
always the one watching
You're the top person.
Yeah. God, just everything about Kathleen Kennedy. It just drives me bonkers. Like the MCU's doing good things. Like they're making firings happen. They're rattling some cages and stuff like that. So that's good. And I got a few more articles because I was diving into it. So, you have the whole news with the MCU earlier where the lady was let go. What's her name? Victoria Alonso, and so she was just honed in for being the cause for people's pain and suffering, I guess, in the video effects department of the Marvel. So you have that,
right.
And I feel like, okay, that's a rift that's being unfolded here, and they're kind of like dabbling in, trying to like make amends and kind of get things rectified from their rocky path. That's great. And this is Bob Iger coming back into the play here and just trying to get things going off. And again, he even, this is from Collider, he cited the box office failure of the 2018 spin-off Solo Star Wars Story as the main reason why the studio's feature output plan changed, which is why, again, like they're holding back and they're trying to rectify things and kind of be very careful moving forward. But I'm sorry. What movie? What, like this? I've ranted and I've vented about it so many times, and I was just getting so stressed and just trying to think like, well, what's going on? And I was like, I Googled it. What did I actually Google here? Why do Star Wars movies keep getting canceled? I wrote that into Google, hoping to get the answers. and I didn't get anything.
It's like a question
So
for Chat. What's it called? Chat GP.
Chat GBT.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, actually. While you give
You
your
gonna do that right
thoughts,
now?
maybe I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much thoughts here because, as I already laid out, like I didn't, I feel like I was kind of what's the best way to say it, ignorant to this whole shebang here. Apparently, there was reports that Lindelof and Britt Gibson turned in a draft of their script in mid-February, and I mean, it wasn't long before they ended up leaving the film, which is now basically less than a month, or maybe exactly a month since that date. So I mean, like, is that from feedback that like they handed it in and people just weren't exactly jiving with it? Is it one of those things that because it's Disney, it's just this like super giant that there's so many hands and pieces like trying to change things that it just seemed like too much, or it was just too difficult to kind of get their direction across, or their I don't know, their thoughts on paper. A lot of people weren't jiving with it. I don't know. Maybe it's many of those things. I am not one to really have those answers. So yeah, apology there, but still, what is Chat GPT?
Oh, it gave me a mouthful. Give me a mouthful. This is great. So, and I quote,
Yes.
"Why can't they commit to a new Star Wars movie? It's not entirely accurate to say that the Star Wars franchise can't commit to a new movie, as several new Star Wars movies have been announced or are in various stages of development. However, there are several factors that may make it challenging to produce a new Star Wars movie. One factor is the complexity of the Star Wars universe, which has a long history and many established characters and storylines. It can be challenging to create a new movie that fits within the established universe while also bringing something fresh and innovative to the table. Another factor is the mixed reception that some recent Star Wars movies have received from fans and critics. The release of The Last Jedi and Solo received some criticism from fans, and this can make it challenging to move forward with new projects as studios may be hesitant to take risks with the franchise. Additionally, the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the film industry as a whole, leading to delays and changes in production schedules. This has affected the release of some upcoming Star Wars movies. Overall, creating a new Star Wars movie requires careful planning, creativity, and a willingness to take risks. While there may be challenges to overcome, the Star Wars franchise has a loyal fan base and a vast universe to draw from, so it's likely that we will see new Star Wars movies in the future." There you go.
That's like, I feel like that's where Kathleen Kennedy gets some of her like just statements. She just puts it into Chat GPT or whatever the hell it's called, and she just reads it right off there.
I mean, it's probably right in their scripts for him. I went a step further and I said, "What year will we get a new Star Wars movie?" And I got, as an AI language model, I don't have access to insider information, so we
There you
don't
go.
know.
Sam in the comments, that's actually better than a press release right there. Like some of the things you're saying, I'm like, is he actually going off of the AI there? No, it's sounding pretty good. It's freaky what those AIs can do these days.
Yes.
Yeah, so obviously like they've departed now. Apparently, where was it in this article I was referencing? Yeah, apparently Lucasfilm already has a new writer, which has taken up the vacated position, which it just says a single writer. So like these two were kind of a pair. So that's a tough task for two new people to come in and like replace the idea that's kind of already been going, but to just have like a single entity on that project, man, I hope they're getting paid well. But yeah, apparently we don't know who it is. The plot of the film is being kept under wraps, but apparently there's supposed to be a formal reveal of the project at Star Wars Celebration next month, where the title and the plot of the movie would be unveiled. This is bad timing for that, eh? Like leading in month away, and like they put in their script mid-February, and now like these same people are just departing. I don't know. It's not like super smooth sailing news that I would like to hear going into like a Star Wars Celebration thing like that. It should be positive vibes and super excitement, but right now it's oof. What can they scrounge together, and is it going to be something that I don't know, like the higher ups really like, but then the general audience really doesn't, or maybe not even the general audience, maybe like the more hardcore Star Wars fans don't like, or I don't know. It's a dicey topic for sure.
Well, that you say that they're gonna do like a formal revealing where they drop a title and everything like that. That means jack shit. We got that with what? Rogue Squadron, and what happened to that? Jack shit. So I have no
Jack
stock
and
in that
shit,
whatsoever.
and Jack left the station,
Yeah.
as Ash would say.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I have no faith in that whatsoever. It's really, really just at this point, yeah. Especially as you said, the timing of having your writers just like leave town along with Jack. So I mean, it's just it's not ideal. Um,
And it's
I
funny
just
too. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like with the slate thing, like even earlier in the same article, Kennedy mentioned before that she wanted to tread carefully before announcing film projects due to some turbulent productions. She is just like, oh, she must be such a stressed individual. I hope she's finding ways to decompress, even though you might feel a little bit different from that. You probably feel that she should be she should finally be feeling all these stresses and just facing it head on.
Well, again, the only things that she has upcoming movies, if you Google it, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny and Star Wars Rogue Squadron. As far as I'm
There you go.
concerned, only one of those is coming out, and it ain't Rogue Squadron. The other thing too, and while Travis made a note of saying this, that they feel safe with Kathleen Kennedy. You know, she's got some things under her belt already, like Mandalorian and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
So there's some good reception there. That's fine, but fuck. I could take my stamp of approval stamp and I could stamp all these scripts like she's doing. Like, it doesn't take much. Like, who is generating the ideas? It's the pitches. As far as
Yeah.
I'm aware, it's not Kathleen. Fuck. It's
almost
Dave
did it.
Filoni. I almost did it. Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau. They're creating these concepts and they're bringing it to the table and they're looking at Kathy and they're like, Kathy, just, sign our checks, please. And so Kathy just signs the checks. And that's all that happens. Like, anyone can stamp that approval is what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
I've worked for people in my past work experience. I know the situation where you can have maybe this is a little bit harsh, but this is harsh situations because you can have incompetent people
Lean into
in
it.
positions of power, and it doesn't mean that they're qualified. Again, I know George put her into this position as part of the deal and all that jazz, but again, that was a different time period. Well, I'd very much like to see what a current day George Star Wars movie could be.
No, you don't.
No.
Don't bring that evil upon me, Ricky Bobby. Don't do that. Let the man rest.
I do think that maybe like whatever residual stuff is going on there, she just needs to, like the chat GPT says, embrace a few more risks. I think that like risks are okay. And when you look at Solo and when you look at Last Jedi, like there's controversy in The Last Jedi, totally justified, but it took a risk and it was trying to do something. And I don't think that should be, paying the price for everything else. Solo, I don't even consider Solo a risk. They were doing an origin story.
Yeah.
A risk to me is something like an Acolyte TV show that it's their own creation under the Disney umbrella, and they're really branching out and trying to experiment with new characters that they have created in a part of the universe. Again, they have created and a timeline they have established. So I think that's taking the risk, and that's what they need to get into. And I hate that they're just taking their time and like. I feel like Acolyte should have been bumped to the forefront because you keep relying on Mandalorian, you're gonna get that fatigue. You're gonna get people just kind of like sauntering off. Like
I think that's already evident too, with like people
it
tuning
is.
into this season, right?
Absolutely, you can see it in the reception. Most of the GA are just gonna tune in and be like, oh yeah, like Grogu, all that kind of stuff. They're tuning in for an adventure, and that's fine. But there is clearly a more divisive reception around Mandalorian this time around with what was going on, which is fair. We'll have to get to the end of the season and see where the fan base as a whole kind of stands on how they're receiving this show. But again, like I said, Mandalorian can't be the crux or the crutch for Star Wars. Crux, yeah.
It's gonna bring them down.
It can't be that, because eventually, like, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, as the great Harvey Dent once said. And now Mandalorian is slowly living long enough to see itself become the villain. We don't want that, because it was great.
Yeah.
It's like a one and done, like Obi-Wan. Boom, a one and done. Hero of a show. That's fantastic. So, I go ahead.
I'm really hopeful that like Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, like those projects really bring in just like that breath of fresh air into the Star Wars universe, because I feel like Mando had that, and like to your point, it's like we have had some other shows in the mix I feel like a lot of them have kind of been bad. Andor was a shining light for me, as for sure, which like tackled a different aspect, but still like it is in that same time frame. So I agree with your point that I think they just need to just get wild and a little bit more creative and not just rely on the old faithful. That I mean, they look at it as being old faithful, but I feel like for a lot of the reception from the audience, it just ends up kind of landing to that mid.
Mid.
I was thinking of saying mid tier, but you know the youth are saying mid these days to just comment on things. I don't know. Save me
totally.
right now.
Well, you mentioned Skeleton Crew, and I think that's a good kind of transition because I didn't see it in the initial notes, so I was curious because they got an episode of Skeleton Crew is going to be directed by or handled by the directors of Everything Everywhere, which I think is interesting.
The two of them, I forget their names, but yes, that's super exciting.
The two Daniels, I believe it is.
Yes, coming off of a hot Oscar win, so that's super exciting.
But see, now is that? I was thinking in my head, I wasn't vocalizing any of this because I didn't want to get attacked. But I thought, oh, so they win an Oscar.
This is a safe place, Taylor. You're not gonna get attacked.
They win an Oscar, and then Kathleen Kennedy's like, "Oh, I won an Oscar for my project." Like
stamp approval on this. Yeah,
exactly. So I just think that. Are they great? Sure, they're very, very talented. Again, they created a fantastic, well-received movie. Like absolutely. So why not give them something Star Wars related? But I do feel like this is just there are many people out there with many different ideas. And so are they taking a risk doing this, or are they doing something that is safe? Because hey, these guys obviously they have an Oscar under their belt. They created a very great film, so we can feel safe by having them. I would have just liked to have been in a world where before they won any Oscars or any awards or anything like that, Disney reached out a while ago and was like, hey, you guys want to just come and do this? Because I'm sure at the end of the day, like your experience speaks, and they obviously have the experience, and I'm probably just making and manifesting a problem out of thin air, just because I don't like.
I see your point. I see your point, though. I feel like it's one of those things, though, that like because they got all this praise for a reason, and then that also kind of puts them on other people's radars, like potential employers, like Kathleen Kennedy of the world. So I see your point, but at the same time, I still think this is, I mean. Like it might not go this route. It might go the more safe route where it just sticks to that kind of Star Wars formula. But if for Everything Everywhere All at Once, that is one of the most unique films I've ever seen in my entire life. So if they're able to bring even like a sliver of like that creativity that they brought from that film, I think that we could get like a very special episode for Skeleton Crew. Hopefully the whole series is very special, and hopefully just going forward a lot more Star Wars projects feel that way. It is a tough task to make it feel like Star Wars but still innovate and make it feel different, especially when you're just under the big Disney cloud where like they need expectant results to hit like at that certain level, and if it doesn't hit that certain level, it's just seen as a failure from the big Mickey Mouse man that's just running the show. So I feel like I understand multiple arguments for like the same topic, but at the end of the day, like I am just a fan. Like I don't have stock in Disney or anything like that, so I just want to get fun, good projects. But like even without saying that, I just want to get projects. And we're right now with Star Wars Disney. It's just they just keep getting further and further away, and like big announcements, like you were saying earlier, like they're not gonna have like a same effect. Like they just kind of mean jack and shit lately, especially for Star Wars films. Star Wars TV shows have been a little bit better in that avenue, but Star Wars started on the big screen. Like it'll always be that big household name that I feel like gets families to the theater. But holy moly, it's been a hot minute since we got that, right?
It's true. And you know what? Actually, you reminded me of a fun fact. There's no new Star Wars movies coming to theater, but they're playing the old ones. I'm going to see Return of the Jedi on the big screen tomorrow because there's no fucking new Star Wars movies. Christ.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, what's up? View with the Drew. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, so there you go. Star Wars rant probably ensuing for the next however many years until we actually get a Star Wars live action film. But Anything else on this? I know it's just kind of a heated topic and just kind of getting. Like it sucks that I feel like lately when we get Star Wars news, it's not the most positive thing. It's usually more disappointment, or this person left, or this
Yeah,
project got canceled.
it's literally like you are playing a game of soccer or you're playing baseball and you kick that ball into the net, or you just bat and swing a home run and you turn to look and your parents aren't there. No one's in the stands.
That's
You're all
sad.
alone. You know, your sibling or your grandparents drove you to the game. And your parents aren't there to support and watch you. That's what this is. So
I don't fully get the comparison there. How come it's like that?
because like it's a great moment, like, oh, we got a new movie announced with these amazing writers, and then you hit that home run, then you turn to look to the stands to see your parents, like, oh, the parents aren't there, and you feel the shame, and it's like, oh, the writers are no longer on the project. So
Okay, I see it. You circled me back by the end. You had me a little bit lost in the weeds up here, but we found back home plate.
there you go.
Good sports reference there from Taylor Field. All right, we're gonna take our first ad break here, and then we're gonna quickly jump back to some more Star Wars stuff, possibly. And we're back. All right, Taylor Field. We got a Jedi Survivor. I think that's the I think that's the running title. Jedi Survivor trailer. This is showcasing more of like the story as opposed to the gameplay. There was some gameplay in this trailer. I'm not gonna pull up the trailer because it was a short one, and it's mostly just Cal Kestis, I believe that's his name. I'm killing it. 50% actually on names. We started rough, but we're getting there. Him and his crew, and I think I'm just gonna pass this over to you because this trailer really didn't do really much at all for me. But to like preface, like I haven't beaten Fallen Order, so there you go. I'm not jumping on this game right away. It's cool that we're getting Star Wars games, and for what I've played of Fallen Order, I did like at least like the combat, and I like what it was. Where it was going with the story. So yeah. But Taylor, what did this trailer do for you?
Yeah, it was cool to see a little bit more of what's going on with our team here, our crew. I can't remember the name of the crew. They have a specific name. But you have, again, Cal Kestis still going on his adventure and whatnot. Then you have Marin, who is shown there as well, using the Force, which is pretty cool. Marin was definitely one of my favorite highlights in the first game because she's a Night Sister from Dathomir, which is very cool. And that's one of the planets you get to explore.
I was on that planet. I got fucked up many times on that planet.
It's a rough planet, yeah. But yeah, she was super cool. So seeing her use the Force and just kind of like obviously have more of an impact in the story is cool. It looks like there's some sequences where you're fighting with her and your team as well, which is very, very awesome. And the thing that's highlighted here is the villain, and I feel like what I'm actually really, really happy about is the direction that this game is taking that involves the High Republic. Now, I've gone through some of the books with Travis. You can check out our reviews for that. But all in all, like the High Republic was like 200 years before the Dark Times, roughly. And so when you look at, and I wish I had the imagery to show you guys, when you look at some of the imagery, you can see the first trailer we got, there was a guy in like a big like Darth Vader like BackThe tank vat or whatever, just looking rough around the edges.
Right, I remember.
And then we see in this trailer a guy wearing golden robes, and he's just kind of like throws a stormtrooper helmet at Cal and is talking like, you let this evil take over and all that jazz.
All the jaws.
All the jaws, yeah. So there's that. And if you look at his robes, you can see they have High Republic Jedi emblems stitched into them, which is very, very interesting. So this guy obviously gets awoken from this BackThe tank somehow. Why he's in there, I don't know. I'm sure that we will learn. And then you see in the trailer other characters as well. And shouts out to Star Wars Alliance. Katie pointed this out. There is one character with a crossguard lightsaber, and he looks very similar to a character from the High Republic comics. So I feel like this game is going to be riddled with connections and tie-ins to the High Republic, which I think is great.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think this is an era that you only really get to understand if you have invested your time into those comics and those books, and not everyone has that time. I think that it's something that we need to indulge in other mediums. So
yeah,
trickling into the games is good. Trickling in with a TV show, fantastic. I love that. So yeah.
I want to get just a High Republic video game, and then it just pops off, and I think that'll be exciting because I have zero really, or maybe not zero. I have almost zero knowledge of High Republic other than just what you or Travis have relayed to me. It is cool to see them kind of bridging the gap between the two of them of more like familiar era that we've seen, and then into this new stuff that the Disney Star Wars has put out there with the High Republic. So yeah, I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
Cal's got like some scruff now. I like. He's looking a little badass.
yeah, he's definitely been growing out his scruff a little bit there. Yeah, I at the end of the day, like one of my cons with the game franchise for this is I wish that we were playing as like an alien. It had to be like a white male human.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it is what it is.
It's cool for the actor at least because like having an actual actor, I feel like he's able to just deliver the lines like really well if his actual character's on the screen. It's a cool opportunity for him too. Just like looking back, it's like, oh yeah, I was an actual canon Star Wars character, right? Because they made that canon now, if I'm not mistaken, with Cal Kestis. So I think that is cool. But to your point, I definitely think I think it'll be a cool day when we get our main protagonist just being some alien, some I don't even know, some wild Star Wars aliens. We got many of them out there. Hell, give us a droid. I think that would be badass.
Ooh.
Force sensitive droid.
Force sensitive droid. Wow, that's a first.
A little bit of a Grievous situation where he's got a little bit of biology in there. Yeah, it was a short trailer, so not too much to unpack here. And that game it's coming out pretty quick here, isn't it? Next month? End of April?
Jedi Survivor release date. I want to say it's the end of April. Yeah, April 28th. So
April 28th.
You will be getting a review from probably myself and Travis on that, I imagine.
Taking over the side quest feed.
Probably, yeah.
Right on. All right. So that's the last of our Star Wars stuff here today. Jumping on to some... We're going to Pandora here, Taylor Field. So we got a... what was it? Oh yeah, so Avatar 3 set to release next year's December slot. So not this December slot coming up. It'll be the 2024 December, I think is the release right now for it. And I think it was just yesterday, the Hot Mic podcast with Jeff and John, they were discussing what was it? Apparently this idea that Cameron would do all the visual effects for Avatar 3, but sorry, let me rephrase that. I kind of butchered that. So Avatar 3 will be releasing a theatrical version, but apparently there's this super cut, this super 9-hour cut that James Cameron will, and this is all like a rumor right now, but apparently he's going to be releasing that as a miniseries on Disney Plus. So the idea here is that it'll be released on the theatrical version, and then meanwhile, I don't know if it's going to be current, like right now, or like during that span. Apparently, he'll be finishing all like the visual effects for this 9-hour version of the movie, which would turn into a miniseries because I don't think anyone's going to be able to sit there for 9 hours just watching Avatar. I really like Avatar, but I feel like after the 3-hour mark for like the run times of the last two movies, it's like, okay, I'm okay with that runtime. I feel like I went on the journey, but to times that by 3, I feel like that's a little bit excessive. But with a miniseries, I still think that is pretty cool. You can just spend more time kind of exploring the world and different lore aspects of it. So, yeah, and like again, that's just a rumor; it hasn't been confirmed or anything like that. But yeah, the guys from the Hot Mock, they were discussing this overall idea on there. And Taylor Field, big Avatar fan. Are you ready to go to Pandora for 9 hours?
I'd easily sign me up. Yeah,
you'd probably do like in a theater, like a one sitting. Not even. Yeah, you would.
I would. Yeah, I think that this is a great idea. You can't just do an extra 6 hours of footage and have it not be used unless you're Warner Brothers and you can't steal your movies. But that's besides the point. Disney doesn't do that, and we have a 9-hour supercut. So make it into a series. Absolutely, just get some more ratings on to Disney Plus. Disney Plus, like, it'll flourish. I can't see there being any reason why it would not do good. again, like obviously there are the Dylans of the world that just don't like the Avatar franchise. Totally fair, totally fair. So that being said, though, I think this is great, and like you said, it is a rumor, but I don't put it past James Cameron to do something like this. It's better to like, what's that term? Like mess up now and get forgiveness later, or I'm butchering that.
Better to ask for forgiveness later than permission now, right?
Yeah, that's it. So I think he's just doing it, and like they've left him unchecked. Like as far as I know, like
they've left him unchecked.
Yeah,
This guy's going insane, just making these 9-hour movies.
exactly. So I just think this is great. I really do. I want more Avatar. Avatar 2, when I walked out of that theater, it left me just amping for more. I wanted more, and with Avatar 3 getting into the Ash Navi, which is what they're talking about, so I'm totally down. I think that there's so much more of Pandora we have to explore, and so far we only have the 6-hour plus combination of Avatar 1 and The Way of the Water together just to explore this planet, and there's just like tons more. We got to know what Earth is looking like. We got to know what's going on like on the other side of Pandora. So much more. So let's use this as an opportunity to really invest into this. And again, it'll give Disney a reason to build a new Disneyland attraction or something.
Yeah, just they better just do a Pandora Land or something, especially if we're getting into like, I mean, it'll be the third movie. I think they've released dates for the 2 after that. Yeah, they have their own universe there. I really like Pandora and Avatar and all that stuff. I'm not like a super diehard, but still, I really love those worlds, and I really feel like those movies just take me to another place. And I mean, if I had a 9-hour mini series for it, I definitely would check it out. I probably wouldn't be something I would like revisit all the time. Like maybe if I was just going through the movies, probably just watch the regular theatrical version, but who knows? Maybe it's just phenomenal. There is many things that have extended editions that I just feel like are absolutely necessary. Like that is the canon version, Lord of the Rings being one of them. So I think that is a really fun idea. The logistics of it don't fully make sense to me, because it's like, if this is never going to be like on a big screen release, do they really want to just like have all those resources focusing on something that won't be on the big screen? Now, it would be Disney Plus, so I guess there still would be some profits there, but like Avatar has, I was going to say it is like the best visuals I have ever seen in a movie ever, and that is what that movie is supposed to be. So I feel like if they put it into a Disney Plus series, we'd probably notice like a bit of a dip in the quality there, just because like they wouldn't have all this time to just polish it to make it for this one big like contained movie. But still, I think it is a fun idea. If you would have asked me if I'd want it versus not want it, I would definitely say that I want this. And I should correct myself as well. This has been a rumor that apparently has been going around like all year, that he's got this super incredibly long supercut, but it was just being discussed on the Hot Mic podcast there, so go check them out, they're great. So yeah, I mean, nothing too much else here. Like we don't even know if this is going to be possible to do or see, but still, it's a fun aspect nonetheless, and I'm excited to meet some Ash Navi. And I remember, I think it was around the time of Avatar 2, and Cameron was doing interviews, and he said like for the first 2 movies they really portray the humans as like very negative traits, and then the Na'vi super positive. But apparently for the Ash Na'vi we'll get a little bit of an opposite there. So yeah, I'm excited to see a different side of some Na'vi, and yeah. All right, moving along down the checklist. We're just flying today. So some Beetlejuice news here, Taylor. What's your like backstory with Beetlejuice? I'm assuming you're like a big Beetlejuice fan. Is that wrong?
Parents wouldn't let me watch it when I was little.
I was wrong. Okay. Have you ever seen it?
I've seen it. I made sure.
Okay.
All the things my parents would let me watch, I watched.
Yeah. Screw you, parents.
Yeah. So,
is it one of those things where you like waited for them to be like out of town or something for like a weekend, and then you're like, oh, I'm totally gonna watch all these things? Or it wasn't until you like moved out later in life. You're an adult now. You can make your own choices. First thing you did, watch some Beetlejuice.
It was when I got older and I could like close my bedroom door and I'd be upstairs, and my parents wouldn't just like barge in. So
Just kick in the door. What are you watching? Is that
yeah, you
Beetlejuice?
watch that fucking Beetlejuice.
Not in my fucking house. You know what you fucking deserve. A lot of F-bombs in Taylor's house.
Yeah. So, but my experience, like it's definitely it's there. I think like there's a lot of things where people can like they can meme about it or they can reference it, and I feel like I'm savvy enough that I can kind of clue into it.
Okay.
And yeah, I think it's definitely a franchise, not a franchise. It is an IP that has really defined a portion of like the entertainment community and the fan base out there because it's just such an iconic thing. Just even being the waiting room where Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice sitting there at the end and get a ticket, this is your number kind of a thing, or just the crazy visuals of just being outside the house and those like sandworms in that alternate dimension existence or whatnot. There's so many cool little things with that, and yeah, I am a fan. So Beetlejuice 2, that's something that's been rumored for quite some time.
Mhm.
And I've been waiting to see some kind of sustenance or something come out of it. But I mean, to know that like Jenna Ortega is coming in and Lydia's
Possibly. That's the rumor.
That's the rumor. Yeah, sorry. As Lydia's daughter. And then obviously having Keaton and Burton back, those are two key components. I feel like Keaton's just coming around and doing a whole bunch of things now. Like if some like holy sign like God came down and said, Keaton, you are, you'll be departing this earth eventually. You need to wrap up and like do all these sequels and conclusions and stuff because he's coming back as Batman now.
Other guys too. I want the Lord to tell him about that one.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So, like, just to add on to what you're saying there, yeah, this hasn't like it's not set in stone that any of this is actually happening. That being Beetlejuice 2, but apparently there's according to credible sources, and they've been in talks with the Hollywood Reporter, which is of course a higher tier scooper. That apparently Tim Burton's coming back. Michael Keaton is expected to return, which I feel like it's a project that it would be really tough to not have Michael Keaton back for it, and I just feel like Michael Keaton would be down for it. So yeah, and then I guess I can give my little backstory on Beetlejuice.
Mm-hmm.
I have very limited Beetlejuice experience. This is one I remember watching as a wee young lad with my sister, and it scared the hell out of me. I think it was just like the Tim Burton style, and like I mean for all like the aspects that you were kind of just describing there, like the interdimensional worms. Like I remember that so vividly and just being so creeped out by like everything about it. I feel like Tim Burton was something other than like the hand-drawn animation stuff. I didn't really love it until like later on in life. Now I haven't even like really jumped back into Beetlejuice. I almost said Beetlejuice 2, the original Beetlejuice. Yeah, I don't know. It just hasn't been, probably just like those negative memories as a wee young lad kept me away from it. It's something too, like I don't think Shay has like much nostalgic memories for it, so like we don't really jump into it around the Halloween time. We have other Halloween movies that we jump into, but I know it's like major following. A lot of people love it, so I think just overall I do hope that this does come out for those fans, and as well as just, man, Michael Keaton is just, he's popping off these days. It's I love all the things that he's being a part of and potentially being a part of. So to get back to the news at hand, the rumor of course is that apparently Jenna Ortega is circling the Beetlejuice 2 role. Which is funny because like even in the Hollywood Reporter article, it said like Warner Bros., which is behind the feature, was not available to comment. A representative for Ortega did not respond to requests for comment. So it's like there's not much like substance here for like actual credible source from my eyes, other than it just being the Hollywood Reporter and apparently like from their own sources, like they've been told that way. So take that how you will. They are the more credible side, so I guess that makes sense there. But apparently production is supposed to be eyeing to start late May or early June in London, but the budget has not been set, resulting in a lot of back and forth, which would make sense, like for not knowing if they're going to get Ortega. She's been so hot right now that her stock price is just like gone skyrocketing, which is fantastic for her. She very much deserves it. I feel like this rumor might be, I mean, according to Hollywood Reporter, it's not so much of a rumor if they have their sources on it, but I feel like it also just kind of makes sense to be seeing this into the news and highlights because because of the success of Wednesday, and also just like the interviews that she's done, kind of talking about working with Tim. It seems like a pairing that just really worked, and they enjoyed working with each other. So if she can get involved in another Tim Burton project, I think for her that'd be something that she wants to do, because she had a good time making Wednesday, and I know that she would be able to deliver a very iconic performance, because yeah, her Wednesday role is nothing to write home. Wait, that sounds like a negative thing. It's
Nothing
something to write home
about.
in my mind, I'm like, that sounds like something that's just, yeah, it's all good. No, that's a negative thing.
Nothing to write home about.
It is something to write home about. She killed it as Wednesday. And then, as Taylor mentioned, the sources say that she would be playing the daughter of Lydia, which is the character that Winona Ryder played. So yeah, for all this stuff, I feel like this is cool. Unfortunately, I don't have major Beetlejuice nostalgic memories, but still, I do hope this goes through.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Nothing else.
That's it. Cool.
All right. Beetlejuice 2. Knock it off the list. We have a couple trailers to talk about. They're very short, so these are, and like one of them is a red band trailer for which maybe we'll just start with Joyride here. Taylor Field. I kind of got your live reaction because I like watched you watch this trailer, which was kind of an abnormal situation. But I kind of want to hear your overall thoughts for Joyride. This is a film. I don't even have any of the information in front of me here, but it's
a film.
I'll get it as you're going. I don't want to sound
Okay.
like a super bad podcaster.
Yeah, I asked you, like, why are we talking about this trailer? Like, why is it in the notes? And then you made a great point of like, well, we talked about the J-Law film, which is coming out. Like, and that's totally fair. But if I had to pick between the two and I can only see one, I would easily take the J-Law one over this. I don't know, like, what it is about this film. Yeah, like, the intro got me just because I was like... just what the bully says to the little girl on the playground. Like, I'm not going to repeat it because I will get canceled, hence my name. Smart man. But like that got me because I wasn't expecting it. I was like, holy shit. But then as it progressed, like, throws in like this weird transition of just, they're doing like a whole bunch of stuff when they're returning back to China. And then there's the dilemma of this American on the train just puffs all the drugs at them, and then it just transitions to them just like hiding them, and then I don't even know what happens after that, what their goal, what they're trying to do. Like, I know that she's trying to find her parents, her biological ones, but
yeah, that's the plot.
That's the plot. Yeah, there's so much other filler going on that I felt was just a little over the top, and just watching it, my brain felt so overwhelmed with everything that was going on and all the content they were dishing out. I just feel like this is just like a high octane film that, I don't know, like, if you were to drink Red Bull and watch this movie, your heart might pop. So just like pace yourself.
There you go. What a way to describe it. All right, so yeah, no, I found it. It is coming out in July 7th. Joyride follows 4 Asian American friends as they bond and discover the truth of what it means to know and love who you are while they travel through Asia in search of one of their birth mothers. So yeah, this is like a very raunchy comedy, similar vein to, oh my gosh, what even is that movie called? The J-Law one.
Oh, the J-Law one.
No.
I'll pull it
Every
up.
time I've said it on cast, I've said it wrong, so I don't even want to guess it right now. But it's
No Hard Feelings.
No Hard Feelings, like you, Taylor Field. So yeah, very much in that vein of just being that raunchy humor. And it's got some good stars in there. Stephanie Shu, I hope that's how you say her name. HSU, from Everything Everywhere All at Once. We got Ashley Park in there, Sherry Cola, David Denman, who from The Office. It's good to see him in there. But like, to Taylor's point, I feel like the trailer was very chaotic, and it's probably intentional because it's just like a lot of drugs going on in this movie, a lot of just like, yeah, wild partying. And personally, I feel like I didn't love the trailer, but it showed me enough that I feel like I will like the actual movie, if that makes any sense. I just feel like the trailer was all over the place, showing very random scenes at parts and whatnot. But yeah, I personally didn't love the trailer, but I think there was enough like little comedic moments to to make me think that like when I actually see it on screen, it'll deliver well. It'll be really funny. Because there was definitely a few moments that, like as to your point, very early on in the trailer, I just like burst out laughing. I was like, oh my god, they just went there. Those Red Band trailers, I know it's a Red Band trailer, but still they just surprise me sometimes with what they show in there. So yeah, not the top of my hype list, but I think this will be a fun time nonetheless. Very reminiscent of like the night before, without the Christmas stuff, just for like the crazy partying and drugs aspect to it, and just that I think it's a solid cast, so I think there'll be some good stuff there.
Yeah, just to kind of touch upon that too, just make sure if you're looking up like the movie, it's not this Joyride with Paul Walker.
I saw that was the first one I saw when I googled it. It's like hard to find this movie somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the Paul Walker one.
No.
Rest in peace, Paul Walker. Okay, and then that's Joyride. Moving along, we have a new Little Mermaid trailer. Taylor Field, I feel like it was you and me that broke down like the initial like it was like a teaser trailer, I think, for Little Mermaid. It was just like her singing. I was a lot more positive on that one, and you were a lot more negative. Where are you kind of now after this trailer?
I'm more positive. I will say that, but I
I
can't get it out of my head when she's just talking with Javier and the bubbles and stuff. Like just the vocalization.
You're a mermaid.
Yeah. Like you can't talk underwater, but again, that's my own issue I got to get over. But when Javier Bardem appeared and he's talking, I immediately just started thinking of his character from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Actually, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I don't know if it was the hair waving around or whatnot, but like this literally could just be another Jack Sparrow villain for all I know. But no, King Triton. I thought it looked really, really good. I really did enjoy seeing more of the world and seeing like Sebastian and Flounder and all these characters. Again, Little Mermaid is definitely one of my favorites, and I watched it not too long ago with Madison, and I just thought, wow, this movie is really politically rude. And they need to like
doesn't age well.
Something. No, Little Mermaid does not age well. Particularly, like I guarantee in this movie, Ursula's not calling Ariel a little tramp. Like she did in the
bitch. They're just like they ramp it up like so much more.
The Red Band trailer. But yeah, I think that it was cool when why can't I remember her name? I apologize. Let me pull it up here real quick. That's for the animated one. Where's the
actress?
Yes.
Halle Bailey.
Halle Bailey. Yes, I didn't want to say it because I get confused because there's Halle Berry.
Oh, I know. It gets me every time I see it. I like my mind like switches the words around to say Halle Berry too. I swear.
Yeah. So Halle Bailey. I honestly I really really liked seeing her more in like prominently as Ariel. I think just kind of getting that one reveal of her, adding like they had the extra notes into like wish I could be and all that. Like I was like, oh, it's changing something that I'm so familiar with. So naturally I'm not gonna like it because I'm used to something as the other way. But them highlighting more of it in this trailer and not just that snippet, but just really showcasing her character and everything, I just really, really did enjoy it. I really fell in love with it. So it's just
nice.
I'm really, really actually looking forward to this and super excited.
That's awesome.
It's dropping in May, I believe. So
May 26th is the release date.
May 26th.
Over on this side of the pond. I feel like Europe might have different release dates sometimes, but yeah. At least in the US and Canada. This is actually kind of interesting because I feel like I am a little bit more on the negative side now after this trailer. I really like that initial teaser. I feel like it just captured that magic that the Little Mermaid brought in that little instant. I understand like the criticism with like the speaking under the water. I feel like I'm able to just kind of look past that and just see, I don't know, just take it for how it is. They're underwater. I'm able to just accept that. I definitely felt a lot more positive in the early portion of this trailer. I really like Halle Bailey as Ariel. I think she's going to be a very solid performance, doing the musical numbers as well as just the overall performance. Everything like throughout the trailer for her I thought was really top notch. I had the basically the exact same thought with Javier. I was like, man, like this is just pirates here. Like this is the exact same situation. I was pleasantly surprised too about Ursula. I feel like I don't know. I wasn't as negative as maybe some people were about just the casting as like for Melissa McCarthy for Ursula. Maybe it's just a lot of people not like a big fan of Melissa McCarthy, which I understand that. But seeing her in this trailer, I was like, man, that is Ursula. Like she totally delivers with the performance. I really like the CGI around her looked really cool. But just I don't know. Like as the trailer was going on, it just kind of was losing me. I think like seeing. I knew it was that live action route where like the actual animals wouldn't have like cartoon faces, but like in my mind, like Sebastian and Flounder like actually have those like humanoid faces in my mind, and it like just hearing like the I don't know who the actor was for Sebastian in this movie, but I thought like the line delivery was really good, but still I'm just like, oh, that's just a random crab. Like that's not Sebastian in my mind. I think Jacob Tremblay is playing Flounder, which is pretty cool, and he sounded good. But I'm just hoping that maybe like when I get a full shot of him, it doesn't like take me out of it too much, because like I never even got around to seeing like the live action Lion King, but I don't know, there was something about like the more realistic animals that just kind of took me out of it a little bit. But maybe I can't be too harsh since I haven't actually seen that project.
You haven't seen the Lion King?
I haven't seen the Lion King. No,
Interesting.
Yeah. So maybe I'll have to watch that before this and see how I feel overall with it, because as of right now, I will still see this. I do like The Little Mermaid. It's not like my top tier list at all, but I still have a lot of nostalgia for it. So I definitely will still be seeing this project. But this trailer, it didn't take me out of it so much, but I'm a little bit. I'm not so much on like the ride or die now, where it's like, oh my god, this is gonna be amazing, I can't wait for it. Like I'm kind of not in that route anymore. The moments when she was like on land, I thought looked good as well, but there was just something while I was watching the trailer. It wasn't the best in my opinion, and I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority in that regard, but it is cool to hear that you kind of had like a 180 effect on it. Like you've come around since that initial teaser trailer there.
I for the most part have really enjoyed the Disney live action adaptations. Again, Aladdin is my favorite one by far. Cinderella's not that bad. I have to rewatch that one actually, but Lion King again, that one just makes you cry. Seeing that scene in live action is just brutal.
Yeah.
So there's all that, but one thing I thought it was worth noting, people watching the trailer for this, they were making a thing online about it, like since when was Sebastian a crab? And people are trying to say it's a Mandela effect or whatever, because people are remembering him as a lobster. I'm thinking, what the fuck's wrong with people? He was always a crab.
He was always a crab.
He's always a
crab.
crab.
Yeah.
So
it's funny too, because like when I saw him on the live action, it didn't cross my mind ever to think that like, oh, he's a different type of crab now, or he's a different lobster. Like I feel like overall, without having like the cartoony humanoid face, like he looks pretty similar to how Sebastian looks in the movie. So yeah, people be tripping.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, that's actually our last trailer here today, and our last little snippet of news. Any last minute things from Taylor Field wants to address?
Oh, no, I think that's it. We did it in an hour, 3 minutes. I'll take it.
3 minutes.
Travis said we wouldn't be able to do it.
I know. He was a hater. We only had to snip the plugs out. So there you go. Maybe you can drop them right now.
Yeah, find us with your internet connection. This search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our own base. GeekVerse cast our Twitter. GeekVerse is our Facebook. I'm sure you check us out on the Patreon where you get ad-free, early, exclusive episodes on there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much to everyone that joined. Marco in the background getting wild. All right, we are going to end it here. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.